Hi and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. We are here for another news show, and joining me today I have the one and only Julian. Great to have you back, mate. You're still buzzing.
I'm still buzzing.
How many times have you watched Match of the Day since Sunday?
Match of the Day 2.
Match of the Day 2?
3 times.
Is that all?
No, but it was only the Arsenal game. I didn't bother watching the other games.
Yeah, well, I mean the Arsenal. That's what I'm talking about. The Arsenal game.
I mean, I've watched it 3 times, and I've replayed the goals probably about 20.
Yeah, that's like me, man. I've watched that. You know what? I was saying to somebody today, this is the first time this season that I've actually re-watched an Arsenal game like more than once. Because some of the other, like the Burnley game, and I re-watched them, and yeah, great. Yeah, I mean, but there wasn't a lot to that. But that game on Sunday, I enjoyed that so much. I was absolutely buzzing. And I just got so much joy from just watching those goals, man, and just seeing Xhaka, Smith Rowe, Aubameyang celebration in front of the Tottenham fans.
Yeah, it was perfect.
It was just a perfect day. Yeah. You know, and I've just been watching it over and over. And, you know, it's almost like it's kind of... Now, this is going to sound a weird thing, right? Now, obviously, this is what we do. And I love my football, and I go watch Arsenal week in, week out. And I've been doing so since I was a little kid, right? But this has brought my enthusiasm back. Because even this season, I've been going to games, and it hasn't been a chore. I've been looking forward to go to the games, but I ain't really been excited. I'm just like, right, on to the next game. But I'm buzzing for the next game now after seeing that performance. I really want Arsenal to keep that momentum going, because I am actually buzzing for the next game after seeing what those players did and what they delivered.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've been buzzing the whole season anyway. I know that it hasn't been the greatest performances and definitely not the best results, but that game brought it to a whole new level for me. And I look back at all the games at that stadium, and apart from maybe one of the Barcelona games that I remember, I think that was the greatest atmosphere that stadium has seen. Now, I'm not sure whether it was the performance or the opposition or the fact that we haven't been in that stadium in that kind of environment for a good 18 months, but that was a very, very special day.
Do you know the thing is as well, Julian? Now you've been to every game this season.
Yeah.
Just like I've been to every game this season. Don't you think that the Arsenal fans this season have been brilliant at every game? Even the games where the first 3 games where we took a beating, I thought the atmosphere has been good. I think the atmosphere at the Emirates has been much improved even before, before the game on the weekend. So, you know, the fans can pat themselves on the back as well. The atmosphere maybe it's been the amount of time that we've been away from the stadium. But I mean, certainly I agree with you. The atmosphere in the stadium on Sunday was electric.
You know, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. But I'm not sure, from other stadiums we've been to, it's very difficult to assess the atmosphere other than in the away end, because you're surrounded by noise. You don't really hear the other teams. But I'd be interested from other supporters whether the atmospheres at other grounds have been improved. And I mean, personally, I think it's because of the 18 months away, is that people are so pent up. They've missed it. It's still a novelty. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that I enjoyed the first 3 games, even though we lost.
You enjoyed those?
I enjoyed them, and I've explained this before. I enjoyed them because I was just happy to be out. I was happy to be there. I did see effort. I did see... I saw the potential. The potential.
Man City away.
Man City away was the lowest point. You know,
I
mean, even I found very little to keep positive about after the Man City game. I think the biggest positive I thought was Xhaka getting sent off and being suspended for 3 games. That was about all I could come up with at that time.
Well, listen, on that...
and also the first 7 minutes.
On that, Granit Xhaka, who I thought was superb at the weekend, had a great game, epitomised by the second goal he scored, his strength to win that when under pressure, the ball played out to him by Ramsdale, won that. We went on to score from that. And he was brilliant throughout the game, really was. I thought, you know, he made a good... After getting sent off, I didn't really want him in the team because I was still a bit angry about that City thing. But he came in and he was superb. Then really unlucky for him, he picks up an injury in the game, but we're thinking to ourselves, Granit Xhaka, he don't really get injured much. And normally, you know, the one thing you can have your criticisms about him, but he's a tough guy. He is. And he don't really get injured much, but now he is. He's out for 3 months, confirmed today. Granit Xhaka is going to be missing for 3 months with a knee injury. Doesn't need surgery, so that's good news. But he's going to be out for up to 3 months. Wouldn't surprise me if he came back a bit early, because as I said, he's quite a tough guy. But that's a blow. That's a blow. I mean, there'll be people out there who say it's not a blow. I mean, reading this comment here from Paul, he says, don't get me wrong, I love Xhaka, but he's an average player and not able to take us to the next level. Now the young guys will have a chance to play regularly and get better. A busy 1010 says, Lokonga's time to shine. And John Nwosi says, Lokonga or Ainsley will get a chance to walk or fall. But it's a big blow, or do you feel that, you know, I mean, you just said there that the good news for you in that City game was that Xhaka was suspended for 3 games. So that you're obviously not a fan of Xhaka.
I haven't been a fan of Xhaka. I will admit he played well on Sunday. You can't say that he didn't. I'm never going to be happy if any Arsenal player is going to get injured, both from a human perspective and also being an Arsenal fan. Not having that player available is going to be negative for us. Could it give another player an opportunity? Yes. However, it leaves us very thin on the ground. The other aspect in that position is that if Xhaka doesn't come back early, and I always remember the Santi Cazorla injury, he was supposed to be out for about 2 months. We never saw him for about 3 years. If he's out for a longer period, what happens in January? We've got the African Cup of Nations, you've got Partey out. Is Lokonga going there?
No, he's from Belgium.
Okay.
But you've got El Neni.
El Neni.
And El Neni will be gone.
Yeah. So that leaves that position very thin on the ground. And the other thing is, if you get another injury, I mean, you see how easy it is to get injured. And then you're in trouble again. Like you said,
Thomas Partey, this guy's been very injury prone.
Yeah.
And so if he's out, then you're back into the youngsters again of Lokonga and El Neni.
Absolutely. And then when you look at the results for the first 3 games when we didn't have what we consider to be our first choice 11, we struggled. So I think we do have an excellent first 11 at the moment. It all seems to be gelling. The last 3 games, it's got better each game. The Norwich game, I think they dug out the result. The Burnley game was an improvement. And of course the Spurs game, I'm still not sure, was it because of the quality or lack of quality of that opposition, which obviously made Sunday even more fun, the fact that they were so crap, or was it because we were that great? You look at them, they really didn't have a lot going for them. None of their players played well, but also from a strategic point of view, I don't think they were lined up properly. I don't think Nuno really covered himself with much glory. He can probably go down in the Hall of Fame with all the other Spurs managers. Yeah,
well, who cares? I mean, I don't give a toss.
Well, I have to say I do care. Really enjoyed it.
Hat says Lokonga could have been out of his depth in the derby. I don't know. I've liked Lokonga every time I've seen him so far.
Yeah.
And Agent E says time for El Neni, a.k.a. El Messi, to shine. But the thing is about it, right, is that we know that Granit Xhaka divides opinion. You know, I can tell you're not a fan.
I'm a fan as much as he plays with enthusiasm. He played well on Sunday, but he's limited. And he's limited because he's slow. He's also limited because he doesn't seem to be able to tackle, which is one of the reasons he gets booked so much. He's also limited in his discipline, which has been shown on countless occasions. The other thing about it is he's not a young player. You'd think, okay, he's enthusiastic, he'll learn. He's 28 now.
Do you think we're going to miss him?
I think we could. It depends on what replaces him. If Lokonga comes in and performs at the level that he seems to be capable of and keeps clear of injury, then no, we're not.
You feel Neni comes in for him? Or Maitland-Niles?
Okay, I don't think those two are of the same quality as Xhaka, but I also trust them more to not get booked and potentially not get sent off. And also, maybe not give such stray passes. The other thing about him is his concentration levels. For everything he does well, he's only one tackle or one bad pass away from just giving the ball away and getting sent off or giving away a goal.
Elijah Reyes with a super chat, he says, big up Robbie, I really struggle with this anti-Xhaka narrative. He was solid for us last season and was absolutely amazing in the Euros. One red card and he's suddenly the worst player ever. He says, come on.
Well, it hasn't been one red card. It's one red card this season. And you look at how many games he's played this season, that's a pretty poor record. You go back through his disciplinary record, it's not great. You look back at how many times he gives the ball away through a lack of concentration, that's not good.
Tev B says, play Chambers as a defensive midfielder. Did play there at that time for Fulham.
Yeah.
That's not a bad shout.
He did.
Wouldn't mind
and I think he can fill in.
I'd like to see him there, actually, to see what he'd do.
Yeah.
I want you to cast your mind back, because you know what, you're a fan like me, we've been going a long time. Cast your mind back to when we first bought in Gilberto Silva. Did you rate him?
No, because I didn't appreciate what he did. I didn't study the game enough. When I look back at what he did, I can appreciate it.
Right.
But he wasn't a flair player.
Right. Now, do you remember, a lot of people didn't rate him. I remember what, the guys I used to sit around in the stadium at that time, I remember they'd always be like, they used to joke and say he's not Brazilian. They want to see his passport because he wasn't a skillful player. Yeah, but you're bringing in a Brazilian player, especially in them times. We're expecting flair and stuff like that, and he was like the opposite. He was just like did his job, holding midfielder, solid. Now, do you remember when he was injured? He was out for a few months as well, and then all of a sudden, a lot of Arsenal fans who used to say I don't rate Gilberto Silva were just like, what's missing? Why are they running throughout midfield so much? Where's that bit of edge? Gilberto's missing, man. We're really missing Gilberto. We're really missing him. Yeah, that's what the narrative became. Everybody then realised when he was out, what he did, it weren't flashy, it weren't, eye-catching, but we sorely missed it and couldn't wait for him to come back. And then when he came back, that's when the fans really, really started to appreciate Gilberto Silva. Could this be the same as Xhaka?
Yes. I mean, most football fans, including myself, don't understand football that well because we appreciate. If I think of my favourite players, Bergkamp, Henry, Ian Wright, the flair players that score the goals, because what you see as a fan is emotion. You're looking at who scored. You don't study and keep an eye on Elmeni running up and down and just covering space, Gilberto. You're looking for the entertainment value because that's what you're there for. We're not trainers, we're not managers, we're not scouts, we're supporters. So we're looking at the game in a different way. So for us to appreciate these players, it's not going to happen until they're not there. But as regards Xhaka, I have looked at him and a lot of the things you see are quite obvious. And again, I'll reiterate, the lack of speed. He can't tackle. And for a guy that plays in that position, tackling effectively
he brings
is
a
really
bit
important.
of steel to that midfield. And every manager, right? Wenger,
Yep.
Emery, Ljungberg, and now, Arteta.
Yep.
Every single one of them have said, he's my guy.
Yeah.
He starts... There must be something, like you said, you're not a coach, I'm not a coach.
No.
There's got to be something around that. We might miss this guy. We might find all those people that like to, I don't want, I know Turkish is like very, forget anti-vax, he's anti-Xhaka. Yeah. He don't want Xhaka nowhere near the team, and I know he wouldn't wish any injury on him or nothing like that. But, we might just find out now that, this guy is, there's a lot of unseen things he was doing that we didn't know. That's,
Well, look.
Just saying.
All I'm saying is I'm seeing it through a fan's eyes. I'm not looking that deeply on it. From what I see him get sent off. I see him give the ball away. I see him being unable to tackle.
So you don't think we're going to miss him then?
It depends on the performances that come in, I mean, Lokonga's still young. He's had a good start. Maitland-Niles looks stable. Elneny, we know what Elneny is. He's a £7 million player. He's okay, but he's limited. So would I want him injured? No, of course I wouldn't. Could we miss him? We could, but it all depends on...
This guy said it, Elijah says, and I've said this many times in here, right? And I've got slated by the other guys, particularly Turkish and that. And I said that last season, I thought he played well. I thought he's, listen, we didn't play well on the whole as a team, but I thought he was one of the few players that I would look on and say, Granit Xhaka was pretty consistent last season. All right, I know he had that red card at Burnley when we played him at home.
Yeah.
And he gave away that chance at Burnley when he lost of concentration. Yeah. But apart from that, I thought he had a very solid season last year. And then he had a good Euros. We might miss this guy.
Yeah.
We might realise that, it's, all them times we've been slating him and that.
Yeah.
We might miss this guy. Sorry, before I just get to you. I Want Candy says, hey chaps, loving the content. What do you think the root is behind his discipline issues? Does he just not care, or does he genuinely try?
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, he genuinely tries, which is why I like him. I think he has a rush of blood. He kind of tries to compensate maybe for a lack of speed, and he does it with over enthusiasm. He doesn't think enough. But that's in his personality.
He rushes it. To me, with Granit Xhaka, he has a rush of blood. He's got what I always say. You're not going to bully Arsenal's midfield with Granit Xhaka in there because he's a bit of a warrior spirit guy. You can tell that he ain't having it. He's not going to be a guy that you're just going to go roughing him up, right? He'll put one on you if you put one on him, right? So, but sometimes he's too rash. And sometimes he does that too often, and he should realise sometimes that he's a marked guy in football. Like the sending off that he got at City, it was worse than that. Pogba done worse that same weekend and didn't even get a yellow.
Yeah.
So, he's a marked guy sometimes as well.
I mean, I totally agree with you. He will put it on you, but the fear I've got, he'll put it on you right in front of the referee. And that's not good for the team.
Who's better, says Jerome. Sambi or Xhaka? He was asking me to do a poll on it. Who do you think's better?
I prefer Sambi.
Yeah, I've liked Lokonga what I've seen.
I've realised, but I haven't seen enough of it.
A couple of games, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a few games.
Rafi Bar says, we will not miss Xhaka. We will thrive without him. Shaba says, Julian is so positive.
I haven't been that positive about Xhaka.
Ashish says, Xhaka turns slower than Robbie. Thank you very much. And Gabriel says, we won't miss Xhaka, and he will be back soon. Partey will cover with anybody that plays alongside him if he stays fit. And that's the problem. JK K says, Xhaka can pick a pass also. And Ian says, to be fair, Xhaka is good at dominating the midfield.
He definitely has positives. And when he plays well, but he's got a mistake in him.
AT Football says, as Julian says, it's 3 games. But am I wrong to think that there is a real freshness and pride from this Arsenal team in comparison to the last few years?
For me, I believe that is the case, but then I believe in the process.
Okay. Obviously, Kieran says Lokonga should be starting over Xhaka anyway.
That's my opinion. That's what I said after the Burnley game when I was asked about who should start in the North London derby. I would have preferred to have Lokonga there. However, he played well, Xhaka.
Right. Being Uki says maybe Xhaka looked so good last season because the rest of the team was so poor. Right, but he did his thing. He did his thing. That poll's up, by the way, if you want to vote. At the moment, Xhaka's getting 32% of the votes, Lokonga 68%. Right, so please vote in that poll. Who do you think you prefer in that midfield? Kevin Crime says, if Partey gets an injury too, we could be in trouble. Would be good to at least have Xhaka on the bench. So... And Jack Catton says, I think we will be fine with Lokonga filling. We might just go back to Odegaard and Smith Rowe at the centre, mid and Partey holding. I think that we'll do that for some games.
Yeah, and we can bring Pepe back.
I think what will help Arsenal as well is the fact that with this injury, as long as we don't get too many of them, but I think as a whole this season, the fact that we only have one game a week, this is going to help Arsenal. If we were now playing European football, and then all of a sudden that midfield's starting to look stretched already because you're going to have to rest Partey for some of them weekend games because you need him during the week for the European games or vice versa, right? But the fact that we've only got one game a week, we can play Partey every week. You know what I mean? So that is one area, and I still, I even look on it and I say to myself, look at this weekend. We've got Brighton away. We've just had a really positive result on Sunday.
We've got a whole week to recover.
A whole week to recover and prepare and carry that enthusiasm without nothing sort of breaking into that game. Whereas under normal circumstances, we'd have a game now in Europe. It might be against some team that we've never heard of.
It'd be on a Thursday night.
Or it could be against a good team. It could be like an AC Milan away or something like that, where you got to carry a decent team over there to play. Because, make no mistake, and I've been to, all these Europa League games and stuff like that. Even when you're playing these smaller teams, it's their cup final. Arsenal are coming to town. So it's a packed ground, right? Everyone is Europa League games. Literally, every time I go to them, away from home, the ground's packed. The fans, when you speak to them before the game, they are up for it. They're in there an hour before, jumping up and down. Every one of the players are up for it because there's a big scalp.
Yeah.
So those are always testing games. Even when these games where you expected to win, a player can leave a tackle on you and that because they're going full pelt because they all want to beat Arsenal. We haven't got that now, so that's really going to help our injuries.
Yeah, look, we haven't got that, and there's something else that we're benefiting from because even if we play a shadow squad, all our reserves, Arteta and the other trainers have to go along. So sometimes even the backup players have to go along. Yeah, so what you're doing, you're taking away the weekly training session. So the team is going to be less prepared. Even if the same players aren't going to be playing on the Sunday, they're still going to be taken away. The trainer, they're not going to train like they used to. Yeah. So look,
it messes with your preparation.
It messes with your preparation. I do remember a few years ago when Chelsea were out of all European competition, they went on and won the league.
Yeah. That'd be great, but I can't see that happening.
Well, we can discuss that another time if you want.
You're not seriously saying that?
Okay.
No, don't please. Don't even say that.
Look, as I said a few times, I'm not a religious person, but any religious experiences I've seen have been on a football pitch. And it doesn't just have to be Arsenal. I look back at Leicester, I think 2014, 2015.
Don't do it, Julian, man.
Okay, I'm going to do it. 2014, 2015, Leicester looked nailed on to go down. Nailed on. They, in their last 9 games, won 7 of their last 9 games, drew the other one, stayed up. By the skin of their teeth, they stayed up. Next season, they went into the season 5,000 to 1 to win the league. And the rest is history. Now, I'm not saying for one moment I think Arsenal are going to win the league, but stranger things have happened on a football pitch. It is a possibility.
Don't do it, man.
It can happen. I'm not saying for one moment I think it's going to happen, but it's a possibility.
Why are you bringing it up and even saying it then?
Because
you've got no chance of winning the league this season. Forget that.
If the players go onto the pitch, if Arteta go onto the pitch with that attitude that we've got no chance, then you have no chance. If you believe you're going to do something, you've got a chance.
Yeah, listen, you can go on to there saying this and we have the attitude that we're going to, but other...
There is. I'm not going to say they're going to win the league.
They're a million miles off the league, man. I mean, just come on. Let's just chill out a bit.
I think they were closer than Leicester were.
What, that season? No, Leicester got off to a great start that season.
Yeah, that season. But the season before, they were nailed on to go down. Do you not remember? There was a reason they went into that championship season 5,000 to 1. The bookies don't give money away. Miracles do happen, but only on a football pitch.
Oh, God. They're on you already, Julian. Tom says, this is getting clipped. He goes, I love his optimism, though. Daniel Burfitt says, what drugs is this guy take? Oh man, they're giving you a load of stick. Yeah. Michael says, if you're not religious, Julian, then why do you look like Buddha? Don't worry, we can take the banter here, man. We can take the banter. Emmanuel Paul says, how dare you be positive? I think he's probably backing you a bit there. Julian has seen the light too, says MC. All right, you know what I mean? Yeah. But then Brian says, Julian is about to go on a delusional run now.
Well, if the team can go on that delusional run with me, then we're all happy.
AL James says, no chance. Leicester had a massive bounce from an unbelievable finish to keep them up. We were crap last year, so no momentum. Well, maybe we take a bit. No, you're getting me into it now. No, listen.
It's infectious. And if we all start believing, maybe the team will as well.
Yeah, you know what? I said it a few weeks ago that I was really angry when Edu was asked those questions about where do you think we can finish on that, and he didn't want to say it. He was like, I don't know, let's just see how we play. I didn't like that.
Yeah,
I was like, you set yourself a target, right? And I was like, only 3 games have gone, and you know what I mean, still early in the season. Why can't we still aim, not necessarily that I'm saying we're going to get into, but aim for the top 4? Yeah. But winning the league, no, we've got no chance of that. That's gone already with that start that we've had.
Okay.
Forget that.
All right, let's hopefully the players won't think like you.
No, listen, I know about, think positive and all that, but I just can't, nah. Premsy, big up Premsy. We're going to get Premsy on one of these shows as well, by the way. Premsy up there in Manchester, but he says, big up guys. We need to keep our feet on the ground and take every game as it comes. Arteta is still not out of the doghouse. And chill out, Julian, he says. And I agree with him. Chill, relax.
I'm chilled, I'm relaxed. I just want to enjoy it. I don't want to think they're going to lose. I want to go into every game thinking we're going to win. I'm off to Brighton, I'm going here, I'm going there. I'm not going because I think Arsenal are going to lose. I want to think Arsenal are going to win.
Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. But I wouldn't even, don't say it. Don't say it, you know what I mean? I want the team to aim as high as they can, but I don't. Winning the league, we're way off that.
But I've not said I think we're going to win the league.
Chelsea.
I've said there is always a possibility. However minute, to say there's no chance, in my opinion, is wrong. To say there's no chance.
Amit S says, Robbie, please tell Julian I spat my soda out everywhere when he said we can win the league. He owes me a new rug.
Hopefully it's not expensive.
Ratchet says you're worse than Ty. People are saying you look a bit like Daniel Levy's. What a lot of people coming in there saying.
Yeah, well, I think Daniel Levy's a very good-looking man, very charismatic, very successful. So I'll take that one.
AT Football says Julian took it to the extreme, but his point is valid.
Thank you.
Example: we had no chance of making the top 4, but if players play every game like we can we take advantage of it? If one of the big 4 slip up badly, that's fair.
And also, if you go back to that point, which is a very good point, is you look at the season when Leicester won the league. One of the reasons they won the league is because pretty much every other team threw it away. None of the big teams played well, and especially in this situation. I mean, COVID isn't finished. COVID could play a big part in this season. You can get teams absolutely decimated. It can go through the club, and it could last 3, 4, 5 weeks. And it could take one of our opponents out or ourselves. At the moment, it's very volatile.
All right, okay. Adrian, he's got answer to everything, Adrian says Swiss Xhaka appeared versus Spurs. He says if we get to see that more, then we have a chance. Well, we're not going to see that for 3 months because just to reiterate again, that news that Granit Xhaka is confirmed is going to be out for 3 months. With a knee injury. It doesn't require surgery, but it's going to keep him out for 3 months. I want to touch on another subject now, and this is all about another midfielder who was at the club, and that was Matteo Guendouzi. Mikel Arteta moved Guendouzi on in the summer. He's gone out on loan. I think it's a loan with an option to buy, but I think there's a lot of things stipulated in there that he has to play a certain amount of games and stuff like that. Otherwise, he could actually come back. But more than likely, now, he's at Marseille. All the reports are he's been playing really well for Marseille. Broke into the French team. Mikel Arteta was getting a whole load of stick. There was a lot of fans saying, you know, again, another example of Arteta not being able to handle a young player and sending him out on loan. We should have kept him, etc., etc. Even with this injury now to Granit Xhaka, I'm sure there'll be some fans saying we should have kept him. But it's a really interesting comments from a French journalist who goes by the name of Romain Canuti, and he was talking about Matteo Guendouzi, and these are his quotes. He said, there are a few players at Marseille who are struggling with Guendouzi. His way of working, when he always blames others for things, when he falls to his knees in training to implore God because a touch isn't good enough, it grates. We know this type of temperament in Marseille, but there are foreign players who aren't that into it, who have a lot of trouble with that. When you've got a guy like that who always criticises, you might not want to sympathise with him down the line. Sounding like Guendouzi, again, is upsetting a few people, creating a few problems at Marseille. Now, is this, again, another example of why Mikel Arteta got on with him? Got rid of him. He had problems with, Unai Emery as well. Or is these are situations as a manager you need to manage? I mean, where do you stand on the Guendouzi thing?
Okay, so the first thing with that press report, it seemed rather vague. Let's make the assumption that it's true and that he has upset people.
Sounds like it.
It sounds like it, but this reporter, and he wouldn't be the first, I'm sure he wouldn't be the last, would have a vested interest to create a story.
Right.
There's no names mentioned, there's no source mentioned, but for this discussion, let's assume that it's true. That, to me, would reinforce Arteta's decision that it isn't about brilliant players, it's about a brilliant team. And you could have the most fantastic player, but if he doesn't fit, that just doesn't work. I remember years ago, Newcastle would seem to be strolling on to win the league, and they brought in Asprilla, yeah.
Tino Asprilla, wicked player.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant player. And when he came in, he disrupted that team, and they threw it away. So it wasn't about that player, and it may well be that Guendouzi. I thought Guendouzi was fantastic. I really, really rated him. But if his face doesn't fit for whatever reason and he upsets the people around him, then it's the right decision to ship him out.
We've got a poll going up. Does Guendouzi have an attitude problem? So far, 178 of you voted. 82% of you saying yes, he does have an attitude problem. But my question is, do you manage that problem, or is that just a problem that you don't need in your dressing room when... You know, because what he's suggesting there is, you know, that is going to upset a lot of players, isn't it?
Okay, but then the other side...
Because, you know, he's not Cristiano Ronaldo, is he?
Well, but then Cristiano Ronaldo started somewhere.
Now, yeah, but Cristiano... What I'm saying is, when I say he's not Cristiano Ronaldo, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo, you can see sometimes he kind of berates players and things like that. But he's earned a right to do that with what he's done. He's a great player. He's the main guy. He's earned a right. Guendouzi's a young kid, man. You're there as a youngster, and you're starting to have a pop at some older players and things like that. And I mean, some players are going to be like, they're going to take exception to that. They're going to be like, hey, yo, bro, who are you? Yes. You just arrived. Chill.
Okay, so some players are, but then you've got to question those players. If those players are showing a lack of enthusiasm and he's coming in, I've seen this before, is that you can get young players that come in, they're enthusiastic, and they want everyone to be enthusiastic, and they're expecting higher expectations of their colleagues, and they're trying to encourage them. So it can be seen from different perspectives.
Yeah, but imagine like Saka or Smith Rowe in training, they've got an attitude with like the senior players. You know, they're always having Aubameyang misplaces a pass. Yep. In training, we're talking, not even talking about in the game. And they fall to their knees and they're having a go and cut. They ain't going to go down well, innit? If you're a senior player, you're like, yo, bro, yeah, all right, you're doing well, but you're just coming up. Shut up.
Yeah, but
you're just coming up. Relax.
Okay, so you can have an environment where you have a meritocracy, I think would be the word, which is all about, as you said, the older you are, the more you're respected. In football and in life, for me, I think it should be nothing to do with age. if you're good enough, you're old enough. And if he's enthusiastic and his levels are higher, then why not criticise those players? And if they can't take it...
The employee works for you, a youngster comes in, starts, certain things you're doing, starts having a pop at you, not criticising you. You're going to be like, he might even be telling you things that are facts.
Yeah.
He might even be telling you things that, you need to hear, which would improve your business. And I know you're a businessman. Like if he's saying, doing it in certain ways, you're going to be like, who's this kid coming in and who the hell? You would. I know you.
No, I wouldn't. If I...
No, you'd be like, that's cool, man.
No. If someone came to me and delivered a message in a way that might be direct, but it improved my bottom line, do you think I'd be happy? Yeah,
but it's the way in which it's initially delivered. You wouldn't like it. And especially if that was constant.
But if the net result was my bottom line improved, do you think I'd like it?
Okay. AT Football says you manage the problem. If it's CR7 or Messi, they've earned a reputation over 15-year amazing careers. Players like Guendouzi create cancer culture. I can't get a bit confused by his message, whether he's to say you manage the problem.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's saying you manage the problem if it's Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi because they've earned it. But players like Guendouzi's creating a cancer culture.
I think going back into the work analogy and the football situation, if he's coming in and he's criticising for the sake of criticising, he's upsetting people, you do have to get rid of him. If he's criticising with a valid reason, then I think you keep him around and you manage the situation. That particular press report was very, very vague.
Seventh Arisha says Guendouzi has a winning attitude.
I would agree with that.
Which I did used to like when he was at
I like
Arsenal.
that. I mean, we saw the last of him after that Brighton game, wasn't it? He grabbed Malpay, which again wasn't within the rules of the game, but it showed he cared.
But then when the rumours are he was asked to apologise regarding certain things to the manager, he refused to Arteta. He refused. When he was asked to apologise some things to, I think that was Emery, that he refused that as well. I mean, there's a winning attitude, but then there's attitude problem.
Okay.
Where you're just like, I don't even want this guy around me, man. It's just he's just poisonous.
Okay. In that respect, if
it's hard because we don't know precisely.
Exactly. We can only make assumptions. If, as you said, he's not respecting authority, then you can't have a player that within your team.
Oran here is going back to your comments about winning the league. He says, remember, everyone said going unbeaten in the league was impossible, and we did it.
Yeah, and everyone says, if you read the press reports before Anfield 89, I think one of the biggest ones was you don't stand a chance. The rest is history.
Winning the league this season, we don't stand a chance.
We do stand a chance. The
don't.
Discussion is how much of a chance.
We don't stand any chance.
Every team in that league has a chance.
We don't stand a chance of winning the league this season. We don't stand a chance. I'm quiet.
Okay. If that's your...
Lovely thought.
Yeah.
Lovely thought. Yeah. We don't stand a chance.
Okay. Well, I think we do.
How?
Because I've told you that if you look back...
Everyone else gets COVID.
That's one chance. There's plenty of positives about our club, and I think in the last few weeks we're starting to acknowledge them. I mean, we talk about the process. I mean, up to now, when you've mentioned the process, so many people have heard ridiculing that. But for me, I've totally bought into that idea. I've seen it before, and I've seen it work before. You look back at what George Graham did in the 80s. He came in. He replaced senior players, ones that with big reputations, Viv Anderson, Kenny Sampson, and he replaced them with relative unknowns. In fact, complete unknowns. And he changed the dynamic of the team, and it worked. So it does work. And when you say, they're too young, I mean, 22, 23, you're not a young boy. You're a fully fledged adult, and they are good enough, and they're going to improve.
All right, you heard it here first from Julian. Little brother says, where's the smoke? Where there's smoke, there's fire. The same issues have followed him everywhere in his short career. Talent, but he will end up being an outcast soon. Great point.
Yeah, he could well.
It always seems to be him. Every time it seems to be him.
Which is a shame because he is very talented.
Taylor XR says Julian is the new update for Ty. Obviously, Karen says Julian is just a history merchant. Jason McLean says take off the mask. We know he's Ty.
They'll have to take off the padding around the stomach as well.
Brian says, Robbie, please pray for Julian. He's too delusional. They're not having it. They're not having your, Navar says 12% chance like everyone else.
I would disagree with that because some teams have got more chance than others, but, we do have a chance.
You've really got people going with this. Ehov says, while it's technically true that Arsenal have a chance to win the league, it's not really saying anything because Norwich technically have a chance to win the league.
Absolutely. And that's the point I made.
Well, Norwich have no chance of winning. That's a stupid point then because Norwich have got absolutely no chance of winning the league. They're going down.
Okay, the probability is Norwich will go down and Norwich have a less chance of winning the league than Arsenal, and Arsenal have less chance of winning the league than Man City and Chelsea. But all of them have a chance.
Anthony Aki says Arsenal's stand a chance, Robbie.
Yeah.
I'm sick of tired with you setting fourth position as a target. I'm being realistic.
I mean, if you look,
no, you got to be. No, listen. You've got to be real.
Okay.
I think if you set fourth place, which I think is very difficult this season as well.
This is going to be difficult.
But I still felt after losing the first 3 games that should be the target for Arsenal. We can still get into the Champions League places. That's realistic. If you go and you say to them, right, guys, you know what? When you go into training and Arteta goes, guys, you know what? We can still win the league. They're going to turn around and go, you know what? Well, I think Arteta must have been smoking this weekend, man. Boy, you know what I mean? Must have had
okay.
But if he comes in, he's realistic and he goes, guys, it's going to be a tall ask. It's going to be really difficult. But you know what? If we believe in ourselves and we apply ourselves and we keep knocking on that door, the top 4 is not gone yet. We got to keep knocking on the door. Teams like Man United, we've seen them slipping up. You know what I mean? Other teams could slip up. We need to be ready to. But then don't come and talk about winning the league. It's done. That's over already.
Well, if it's
no
done,
chance.
If it's done, if we went on to one of the betting websites, would they give you odds on Arsenal winning the league?
Well, apparently this guy Goonalad89 says Arsenal are 125 to 1 to win the league this year.
There you go.
Then you go and put a tenner on it then.
All right.
Would you?
Yeah,
put 100 quid on it.
Put a tenner on it. Put a tenner on it.
Yeah. You're already backing it, aren't
you? I'm backing it. I only said they had a chance, and as the gentleman said, 125 to 1. That's the chance.
Ram Kamar says, Robbie, get fourth. To get fourth, we need signings in January, a Renato or a Awar. And the Pheno Media Production says, Robbie, Julian is right. Every club do stand a chance of winning the league because they are part of the competition, right? Listen, if you put it in those terms, but
that's the term I put it in. I said
reality,
everyone's got a chance. Arsenal's chance is 125 to 1, apparently.
Rage Big Boss says Julian is right. You're getting a bit of support here, but I'm sorry, I'm not having it, man.
All right.
Michael says, Robbie, give Julian a water bottle and some headphones. Big up is Sosa. There's another thing I wanted to talk about today, and let's see the Guendouzi poll. By the way, let me see how that's looking. Does Guendouzi have an attitude problem? At the moment, 79% of you are saying yes, 21% say no, he doesn't have an attitude problem. But there was another thing that I wanted to discuss, Julian, and that was about Bernd Leno. Of course, now he's been relegated to backup goalkeeper. He's lost his number 1 spot by the looks of it. Hasn't played in the last 2 games. Didn't play in the Tottenham game. You would have thought, normally that would be him starting. He was asked about his position at Arsenal, and the fact that he got dropped. And he said These are his quotes. He said, there was no clear reason why I was out. But it had nothing to do with my performance. He is the trainer, obviously on about Arteta.
Yep.
He decides, of course, it's difficult for me. He was asked about links to AC Milan. AC Milan apparently really interested in signing him.
Okay.
He goes on to say, London is very nice. Milan is not bad either. And closer to get to my home in Stuttgart.
Okay.
But I'm not seriously not thinking about that yet.
No, of course he's not.
Yet.
Of course he's not.
Right.
Because you always mention stuff you're not thinking about.
Only if nothing changes in my situation by the winter would I have to think about things. What option do I have? How can I continue? It was very interesting that at that game, Hansi Flick, who's the manager of Germany, was there at the game, but he had nobody, he had no one to watch because, Leno was sat on the bench. I mean, is he on his way out? It looks like he's on his way out, doesn't it?
Well, if he's going to give up his position that easily, and he's saying that he couldn't see any reason for it, there was a very valid reason, is that Ramsdale's come in, and in the 3 games that Ramsdale's played, with 4 games in fact, if you count the West Brom game, he's played better than Leno, in my opinion. And my opinion's also reinforced by Arteta's opinion. And Arteta's opinion in this particular matter is more important than mine.
GM Stars says Leno is better than Ramsdale, period. We will pay for this stupidity. But Little Chili fan says Ramsdale looks commanding, good distribution, actually shouts at people and gets them up for games. Leading from the back. How good does 30 million look for a potential England keeper? It was actually less than that, 24 million.
24, wasn't it?
Brian says the nerve of Leno.
It was a very, very arrogant statement to make, and that's an actual quote, is it?
Yeah.
It's an actual quote. That's very arrogant. To say that he couldn't understand the reasons, he's only got to watch the Brentford game to realise the reasons.
Well, do you think he can get... I mean, it's going to be very... This is the thing about when it's goalkeepers, it's very, very difficult to get your place back. Unless Ramsdale now has like some real howlers, and he'd have to have a couple of those to get back, or Ramsdale gets injured.
Yeah, but then it can be very difficult, and it can be very easy, as we saw with Martinez getting his chance when Leno got injured. You're just one injury away. It's not a case of the manager having too many choices. If Ramsdale gets injured, he's back in. He plays well, he keeps his spot.
Anthony Lamb says, hope Leno stays and fights. He will be a goalkeeper for it. And Arsenal can achieve more with 2 good keepers. Also seeing Arsenal getting linked with that Onana again today as well. So
is his suspension finished now?
His suspension finishes, I think the end of October.
Okay.
But we're, obviously he's still at Ajax, so we won't be able to buy him. But we're getting linked with him. YT Lucy says Leno and Xhaka out of the team is good for Arsenal. Bloody hell. Goonalad89 says goodbye Leno. He's got clapping emojis. I think I don't like the way some people are just throwing Leno away. He's made some amazing saves for us. I think he's done very well for us.
I think he's a decent keeper.
I think he's not like he's been over the years. We have had some, after Lehmann, we've had a few dodgy keepers, man, like Almunia and people like that. Leno's not in that category. He's a good keeper.
He has been a good keeper, but when we look at transfers, what did we all want? We want an upgrade, and I think Ramsdale is an upgrade on Leno on current performances.
Looking at Ramsdale so far. All right, let's look at. I want we to look at these things and compare these things and see who's better at them. And we got another poll, by the way.
Okay.
And the poll this time is: should Leno stay and fight for his number 1 spot? At the moment, 67% of you saying yes, 33% saying no. But let's go through these things. You tell me who you think, based off of what we've seen of Ramsdale so far.
Okay.
Who's better? So, shot stopping.
I haven't seen enough of Ramsdale, actually. He hasn't been that tested, although that save he did at the end when he tipped it onto the bar.
Oh, that was a wicked shot stopper,
that was exceptional.
Yeah, against,
but it's a very small sample. So I would say...
And we've seen Leno. I remember one time in the North London derby at Wembley.
Oh, that was
Leno make an unreal save. Remember that?
Was that the double one?
Save?
Yeah. I mean... we've seen a lot more of Leno, so it's a very difficult comparison. On shot stopping, I'd have to go with Leno purely because I just haven't seen enough of Ramsdale. Apart from that one save, that big save, everything else has been pretty routine, in my opinion.
I'm with you. I'd go with Leno because I need to see more from Ramsdale. I know that Leno's very, very good at that. Commanding their box.
At the moment, I'd go with Ramsdale.
Yeah, definitely.
And when he comes out with the crosses, and that's something I didn't see enough of Leno. I mean,
Leno's always punching them, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing that I remember from this season of Leno was when we went to Brentford.
Yeah, that first game.
And that he looked like he got bullied, with that throw-in that came in.
Yeah. Playing it out from the back.
Ramsdale.
Although, you know what? He got helped out by Granit Xhaka. We could have been speaking differently. Yeah. And that ball he played into Xhaka, that was a very risky one. And there was another one in... What game was it? Was it Burton? There was another one where he played short in another game that he just got away with. So, thin margins, but Leno... He's been at fault a few times. He's poor playing out from the back, isn't it?
We could have another criteria, luck.
All right. Distribution.
At the moment, it's looking like Ramsdale.
Definitely Ramsdale. That's one area that I really look and say, Leno is poor at distribution. He's kicking. He never finds a player.
And that is becoming increasingly important in the modern game.
Very important. Very important. And what else as a goalkeeper?
I think there's something else.
Communication.
Yeah, there's communication, but it's not only communication with the team. I think he's already got a greater affinity with the supporters.
Got a great rapport with the fans. But the fans like Leno as well, though.
Yeah, but there's something brewing with Ramsdale.
Ramsdale's got a very good rapport with the fans,
and I've heard this from a Sheffield United fan that he's got a personality that can emanate to the crowd. And again,
he even knew who Ty was the other day when when he was leaving the ground. He saw Ty and he went, Ty. He called it. I think he called him Ty.
Yeah, and is he an Arsenal fan?
That's what I heard. Yeah,
I heard that as well.
Yeah.
If he's an Arsenal fan, he's got all those attributes. To me, early days, but at the moment, he's the number one.
Well, Will Ricketts says Leno is poor at playing out from the back and distribution. Uzumaki says, hello Rob, I'm from Malaysia. What do you think about... I can't pronounce that, sorry. And it's probably... I can't pronounce that.
I don't know who they are.
Remy says, you've forgotten about the Leno. Is Leno that saved more goals in the Brentford match? Could have been worse. Yes, true. Suleiman says, clearly Leno is looking to get into the German squad, but ter Stegen is in front of him, so he needs every minute he can get. Amar Aziz says, Ramsdale wanted to take the number one shirt. That's the mentality I want from both of our keepers.
Yeah. It would be in Arsenal's interest if Leno stayed and they fought it out, because I think one of the issues Leno's had over the last couple of seasons since Martinez has gone is there's been no competition for him. So it didn't really matter how badly he played. He was always going to be the number one. I mean, who did they have as backup? Runarsson? Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that guy from Malaysia who was asking us about Iwabuchi and Miedemar. The women's Miedemar is just one of my favourite players to watch. Vivian Miedemar, she's absolutely brilliant. And by the way, the women are playing tonight. I know Ty's going down there. I know Pippa's going over there. I wish I could have made that game. Unfortunately, I've got Don Robbie watch along tonight for the Champions League, so I can't make that.
Do you know what time the kickoff is?
I think it's 7:15. I think it's 7:15. But Arsenal actually playing Tottenham. Arsenal ladies versus Tottenham ladies. It's at Boreham Wood, and that should be a cracker. That's in the I think it's in the Cup. So and then I think in a couple of weeks' time they're playing at the Emirates. Aren't they playing that game in the Emirates? They're playing in the league. By the way, the women's team, we're talking about the men's team. The women's team are flying. They absolutely buried Man City on the weekend as well.
6-0, was it something?
I think it was 5. But they absolutely destroyed Man City. They've beaten Chelsea on the first game of the season. Well done to our women's team. They're absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, I watched the highlights of that. They looked exceptional.
If you don't have a chance to watch the women's team, watch them. They've got some great players. Smith85 says, Aubameyang and Leno carried us for 2 seasons. We need to show him some respect. I do, don't like the way people are just all of a sudden, Leno's rubbish. That guy's right. There was a lot of times Leno saved us in games.
Yep.
Many a time.
But
many a time, man. I don't like the way people are just like all of a sudden, like Leno's crap sort of thing. He's not. He's a very, very good keeper. Just at the moment, he's lost his place and he has to earn it back.
Yeah, and Ramsdale's better. Look, there's 2 players for one position. In my opinion, they're both good goalkeepers, but Ramsdale is slightly better at the moment.
Yeah, I mean,
therefore he starts.
SH says, I'm not a big fan of Leno, but let's not forget when he was getting whacked 25 shots per game under Emery and he saved us. Very true.
He didn't save us that well because we lost pretty much every game towards
the
end
end.
No,
but it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
You know?
How much worse is... Well, it got to the...
Gunning you down says, ladies destroyed City 5-0.
Was 5,
yeah. You know? Obviously, Kieran says, people are turning on Leno like they turned on Lacazette for a while. You know what I mean? We do it a lot. We turn on players quick. And it goes right back to what I'm saying now
we turn on the manager quick.
I don't know about quick, man.
I'd be interested to see if they don't get the result of Brighton, what the comments are going to be.
It's been there a little while, Julian. And it's great that we got the win at the weekend and fabulous that we're 3 unbeaten run, and this is what we wanted to see from him. I remember doing a programme on BBC and I said, I think he needs to win his next 3 games to start turning the fans around. But it's a start.
It is a start.
It's got a long, long way to go. He had a horrific season last year, and the season before weren't great in the league either. 2 8th place finishes. So just to say fans turned on him quick, I disagree with you. They haven't. Because when he first came in, he won the FA Cup. That bought him a lot of time, and there was a lot of people saying, no, trust the process and that. But when they saw last season and then how he got off to the start of this season, you can understand why fans were turning.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the process has really started now. And
so all the time he's been here before, the process weren't part of the process. The process only just started now.
The process started from the Norwich game. Starts now.
Oh my God, man, Julian, you're a dumb man. Let's get. I got another super chat here. VJ says the lack of depth in our defence concerns me. In December, when we have back-to-back matches, we could fall down the table. Let's hope Mari and Holding get better. Well, that's been significant, the fact that, you know, what I found very significant the other day was that he was playing a lot of the players that he bought.
Yeah.
And
he had all 6 on the pitch at one point.
Made a huge difference, man. Huge difference. Adrian says, can we take time to talk about Takehiro Tomiyasu, player of the month, Sufa Tomiyasu, who was your player of the month. Player of the month. He only played 2 games. But
he's played 3. He's played 3.
2, innit?
Didn't come in for Norwich. He was played in the Norwich game.
Did he play at Norwich?
I think he did.
Might have done.
Yeah, Norwich, so it's 3.
But you know, he's been superb.
He has.
I've been so impressed with Tomiyasu. It's still early. I don't want to go overboard. Yeah. But it looks like we've got a right back.
Definitely.
And we needed a right back. Again, that's one of the things we've been crying out for a long time. We were saying that, you know, there's a problem area. And I like what I see with this guy. He looks a player.
I don't think there's anything not to like about him, but not only have we got a right back, but we've also got a backup centre half.
Yep, because he can play as a centre half as well. So
if you look at that comment, I would disagree that we have got some cover there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Rich says Robbie Guendouzi is already acting like a juvenile at Marseille, causing issues among the side. A lot of the Marseille fans calling him an entitled child. Sounds like Arteta was right with him.
It does. Trust the process. He's right. Again.
And Brian says the process is brewing, gents.
It's coming to the boil.
Oh,
so if it comes to the boil in May.
Long way to go.
We have got a long way to go. And hopefully he's got
a
long way to go.
Michael Quinn says Leno should stay, should want to stay and fight for his spot. But if he doesn't want to, then I don't want him here. And Ginger Lee says Guendouzi shouting at players who weren't performing after a loss, so he was right. And A.L. James says, Robbie Merson commented the other day and said that Arsenal could get top 4 if they kept the same 11 fit all season. Even if we did, we would lose players to African Cup of Nations, of course. Listen, we've come to the end of the show today. It's quick. It's quick. Yeah, you're here.
Okay.
It's absolutely flown past. You're here, you know what I mean? But Julian, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Love
your views as usual, even if I don't always agree with everything.
As long as I'm loved, that's what matters.
you ain't always loved, but
no.
I love you. No, you are loved. You are loved. Julian's loved, mate. And Julian, thanks very much for coming on today. Thanks to you guys as well. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow with News Daily, 6 till 7, right here, UK time. Look out, we've got loads of content building up to the Brighton game. I think we might even be in the ground doing some content, so look out for that. The big game at the weekend, Brighton, who are right near the top of the table. You know, let's not forget, I think they're unbeaten so far this season.
Yeah, they got that last-minute equaliser.
They got that last-minute equaliser the other day against Palace. Mopé, right, he's playing really well at the moment.
It was a very good goal.
It was a great goal by Mopé, yeah, lovely chip. Taking on Arsenal at the Amex is going to be a huge game. We're going to be doing a watch-along here, and of course, we'll be at the ground, we'll be interviewing fans, we'll be getting, bringing you the flavour of absolutely everything that's going on. So make sure you tune in. But thanks for watching the show today. Don't forget to subscribe here to AFTV. Like this video, and we will see you tomorrow.